our African American brothers and sisters. It would be a grave injustice for me not to mention other Americans that assisted us to get to this time and place. Your leadership is a sermon. Be careful how you preach it. When I think about leadership, I think about the great American named Branch Rickey. Branch Rickey was the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. This man had intestinal fortitude, the courage and the patience to bring Jackie Robinson to be the first African American baseball player. The reporters came to ask Branch Rickey, why did you help Jackie Robinson break the color barrier? Branch Rickey said, isn't it amazing that God loves everybody, but we can't integrate on a baseball field? Branch Rickey thought it his duty to move beyond the confines of race. He thought it his duty as a leader and a servant of God to uplift his brother no matter what the hue. This would be a fitting end to the story, and we could all clap because of Branch Rickey's courage. But what you don't know, his colleagues scolded him. They called him disgraceful. He had thousands of death threats. They kicked him out of the country club. Branch Rickey said, my leadership is a sermon. I must be careful how I preach it. When I think about my subject, I think about the courageousness of President Truman. In 1984, he had to sign an executive order for African Americans and Caucasian Americans to fight alongside each other. Why did you have to sign an executive order, Mr. President? Because Congress refused to even meet about something as trivial as mixing blacks and whites in the Army. They called President Truman unintelligent. They called him a traitor, unpatriotic. He said, we have 1 million African Americans who want to die in sweat. And if they want to die in sweat along with their white brothers and sisters, they should be allowed to. President Truman said, my leadership is a sermon. I must be careful how I preach it. The All-Black Ranger Regiment. They were told, you can't make this team. It's too mentally demanding. These positions are for the elites. You are not smart enough. You are not good enough. They were mocked. They couldn't eat in the same mess hall as their white brothers and sisters, their white brothers. But these courageous men learned. They overcame and they conquered the task at hand. The company was so highly regarded for capturing the hill on the Battle of So Young River, they didn't lose a single ranger. They earned over 100 Purple Hearts, 9 Silver Stars, and 4 campaign streamers. The Black Rangers said, we are good enough. We are smart enough. We are tough enough. The Tuskegee Airmen. They were told that blacks could never have the intellectual mental capacity to fly something as technical as an airplane. They were told they had severe psychological and mental limitations. But despite the racism and the prejudice of their day, they flew 1,570 combat missions, earned Silver Stars, 99 Distinguished Crosses, 14 Bronze Stars, 744 Air Medals, and 8 Purple Hearts. Colonel Charles Young. When I researched this brilliant man's subject, life, it broke my heart. His classmates used to call him the father of the cold. He couldn't eat with his classmates. When he was allowed to eat, they would throw away the plates because they didn't want to eat on the same plates after him. He said the racism didn't bother him. He said the prejudice didn't bother him, but he was lonely for the protection and the love of his classmates. It took him an extra year to graduate because the professors wouldn't talk to him. The only people that used to talk to him was the maids and the